Hey guys, welcome to PHP and MySQL series. This is the second video tutorial of PHP and MySQL series. In this tutorial, I will basically cover the variables in PHP programming language. So, what are variables? Variables are nothing but the temporary storage in any programming language which allows us to manipulate the values stored inside a variable further in a program. Okay, so in order to initialize a variable in PHP, we need to make the use of $sign. So over here I have written the code already, okay, and I have initialized three variables over here. That is $name equal to George, $number equal to 5, and $decimal equal to 5.12. Okay, so what does the $name hold? $name is of a type string, and this holds the value of George, which is a string value. So what is a string value then? String value is anything that is stored inside a double quote. Okay, so $name has a double quote value stored in it, so it represents that it has a string value in it. Similarly, $number has a value of 5. It doesn't have a double quote over it, so the PHP compiler assumes that this is the integer value stored inside the variable number. And similarly, decimal, which assumes that it has a decimal value stored inside the variable called as decimal. So if any one of you with a background of programming language must be aware of the data types such as integer, float, and string, etc. Okay, so all these data types are used for assigning the values to a particular variable. Okay, so C language, C++ language, and Java, C# and all that language make use of these data types in order to make variables, in order to define variables. We can say that. Okay, so this was basically how to print the values, how to store the variables, how to store the values inside the variables. This was basically how to store the values inside the variables. Okay, so now the next part is how to print out the values that are stored inside the variable, or either we have to print out a string. For example, I want to print out that my name is something, etc. So how to print that? So in that case, we have a function called as echo in PHP language. So echo function allows us to display anything on the screen. Okay, so echo $name. So $name contains a value of George over here. We can simply write George over here as well in the double quotes, but I'm showing a demo of variables over here, so I will make use of variables instead of strings. Okay, so you can simply write over here as well this stuff like George. It's completely fine. I have a spelling mistake right over here, so that's not the concern. The concern was to basically show you that we can do other way around as well. Okay, and similarly we will echo $number and echo $decimal. And what is this BR stuff? If you're not aware with the HTML language, then I will recommend you to first learn the basics of HTML programming language and then watch these tutorials, because without HTML background, PHP is very much lame to learn. It's not like you can learn PHP without HTML, because PHP is purely a web application based language, and for that HTML is a must. So without HTML you cannot dig into PHP further. Okay, so I will recommend, if you are watching this tutorial before HTML, then please watch HTML tutorials first, learn from somewhere, learn by yourself, or etc. I don't know from where to learn. Okay, and then watch the tutorials. Okay, so we'll print out all these three values. Localhost over here. Yeah, so all these three values are over here: George, 5, and 5.12. So this is the BR tag, so it will break the line, it will switch over to the next line. Similarly, we can provide space as well in order to separate those elements from one another. Okay, now we can, yeah. So now George is separated from 5 and 5 is separated from 5.12. So what if we don't provide space over here? We don't provide space over here, then look what is going to be the output. It's like very much jumbled up, and I just feel that the George 55.112. okay, so I don't feel that 5 and 5.112 are different numbers. I just feel that 5 and this is the whole single number, 555.12. so in order to separate, either use spaces or BR tag, whatever you are comfortable with and whatever your requirement tells you. Okay, so that was all for this tutorial. If you have any doubts about PHP variables and all that stuff, any of the data types, then please contact me and post the comments. And if you like this video tutorial, then please subscribe to my channel, please comment it, please like it, and please view more and more of it and share it. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.